Hello and welcome. If you're preparing for your GS2 paper, you know just how critical higher education policy is. But what if we've been looking at a key part of it, scholarships, all wrong? Today, we're going to explore how scholarships aren't just financial aid. They're actually a powerful strategic tool that could shape India's entire future. So let's dive right in by looking at the central challenge facing India's higher education system today. You can really sum it up in one word: paradox. We've seen this massive growth in the number of colleges and universities, but student participation just isn't keeping up. Take a look at this number, 29.5%. That's India's gross enrollment ratio in higher education. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, think of it this way. For every 100 young people who are eligible to go to college, only about 30 are actually enrolled. So even with all this expansion, there's a huge gap between the opportunity we've created and the reality on the ground. And this slide really puts that paradox in black and white. On one side, you see the number of institutions has just exploded, jumping to over 70,000. But on the other side, student participation is still lagging. And this highlights a really crucial point. Just building more colleges isn't the whole answer. You can create all the seats you want, but that doesn't automatically mean students are going to fill them. So why? Why does this big mismatch exist? Well, the problem is really a threefold challenge, a set of connected barriers that stand between a student and getting a meaningful degree. First up, you've got the challenge of access. The opportunities just aren't spread out evenly, which creates this sort of postcode lottery for education. Second, there's affordability. For a lot of families, the cost of higher education is a huge financial gamble with no guarantee of a return. And third, there's the question of quality. Even if you can get in and you can afford it, is that degree actually going to lead to real learning and a good career? These three things are all tied together, and they create a pretty tough barrier to climb. And that brings us to a really critical point. The problem isn't a lack of aspiration. Young people in India absolutely want to learn and achieve. The real obstacle, the thing that's holding them back, is the combination of high costs and the big risks that go with pursuing higher education. So this is where we need a fundamental shift in how we approach this problem. And that shift is all about reimagining what a scholarship is. We need to move it from being just a simple financial fix to being a core part of the educational journey itself. Here's the core argument. Scholarships can't just be a side project anymore, or something for corporate social responsibility. For our education system to really work for everyone, scholarships have to be right at the very center of our national strategy. This slide shows the difference perfectly. The old way of thinking sees a scholarship as just a financial plug-in, some money to cover fees for a few lucky students. But the new model sees it as a complete pathway. It's about way more than just money. It's about building a community. It's about providing mentorship, and it's about strategically developing talent. And listen, this isn't just some theory. This new way of thinking is already being put into practice. We can actually learn a lot from both our own ancient history and from some of the best modern institutions out there. Think about the ancient University of Takshashila. Its guiding principle was so simple but so profound. Your ability to learn shouldn't be limited by your ability to pay. Students could pay up front, they could work for their teachers, or they could even pay after they graduated. The whole system was built to find and grow talent no matter where it came from. Now, fast forward to today, and you see that same principle at work in top institutions like Ashoka University and the Indian School of Business. At Ashoka, financial aid is a huge part of their admissions process, with a lot of students getting full rides. At ISB, a network of donors funds hundreds of scholarships every single year. For both of them, scholarships are absolutely essential for building the diverse, talented community they want. So the big question is, how do we take these amazing individual examples and scale them up into a national strategy? The goal here is to build a true national ecosystem for scholarships. And this quote is the key policy takeaway. We have to stop thinking about this as just a funding issue. It's about building an entire ecosystem, a whole network of government policies, private philanthropy, and university commitments, all working together to find and support talent. When you design an ecosystem like this, the impact is profound. It hits all three of those big challenges: equity, quality, and growth. It literally decides who gets a chance at higher education, and just as important, who has the support to stick with it and succeed. It changes the whole vibe on our campuses. And at the end of the day, it makes our country stronger by finding and developing talent from every single corner of India. So the ultimate goal of this big strategic shift isn't just about taking a box and raising that GER number. It's about creating real pathways for upward mobility. It's about systematically strengthening our nation's human capital. It's about giving our brightest minds the tools to solve our biggest problems.
So we'll leave you with this question to think about. As a future leader and policymaker, if you can see the incredible power of scholarships to shape who gets in, who succeeds, and what our nation is capable of, well, the path forward seems pretty clear. The question really isn't whether we can afford to make scholarships central to our national strategy, but rather, can we really afford not to? Thank you for joining us.